Today, we're diving into the absolute chaos caused by invasive species. It's a wild story of unintended consequences that you'll see repeats itself over and over again across the globe, and usually with pretty devastating results. So let's get right into it.
Just take a look at this. This is the lionfish. Kind of beautiful, isn't it? It's elegant, almost mesmerizing with those venomous fins. But, and this is a big but, this stunning creature is also a complete ecological wrecking ball.
And that really gets to the heart of our question today. How does a fish like this, or any other creature for that matter, become a full-blown nightmare? Because this isn't just a string of bad luck or random accidents. No, there's a pattern, a predictable playbook for this kind of invasion.
And that pattern is what we're calling the recipe for disaster. We are going to unpack this playbook that these invasive species seem to follow, almost always with a big helping hand from us.
It basically breaks down into 4 steps that we're going to see again and again. First, the introduction. It shows up somewhere new. Second, the explosion. It just multiplies like crazy. Third, the destruction. It starts tearing the local ecosystem apart. And finally, the futile fight, where we humans struggle to clean up the mess. Let's see how this plays out in the real world.
So, let's circle back to our beautiful but deadly friend here. This is our first case study, and believe it or not, it starts not out in the ocean, but probably in someone's living room.
Okay, so the lionfish is originally from the Indo-Pacific, but because it looks so cool, it became a really popular aquarium pet in America. So, what's the problem? Well, when owners got tired of them, maybe they grew too big, maybe they were just too much work, they just dumped them. Yep, right into the Atlantic Ocean, with some of the first sightings happening right off the coast of Florida.
So how did they completely take over? Well, this chart says it all. A single female lionfish can lay over 2 million eggs every single year. Now, back in its home turf, predators keep that number in check. But in the Atlantic, the local sharks and eels just kind of left this weird new fish alone. So with absolutely no predators, their population just went through the roof.
And the real-world impact has been absolutely devastating. They eat everything. Over 70 different species, including the parrotfish that are super important for keeping coral reefs clean. The whole ecosystem just started to collapse. It's gotten so bad that it sparked these local efforts, like the fishing tournaments you see mentioned in this quote, just to try and control them. People are literally getting paid to go out and hunt them.
Okay, let's move on to our next case and see how this pattern starts to build. Now, this one wasn't an accident. Oh no. This is a classic story of good intentions paving a road straight to ecological hell.
All right, so picture this. It's the early 20th century. Sugarcane is a massive industry, but it's under attack. These little cane beetle larvae are eating all the roots, threatening the whole crop. Farmers needed a hero to save the day, and they thought they found one in the cane toad.
And this is where the story gets almost funny, if the results weren't so tragic. In the 1920s, Puerto Rico gives it a shot. It fails miserably. The toads ate everything except the beetles. A few years later, Hawaii sees this, basically says, hold my beer, we're smarter, and tries it anyway. Fails again. Then in 1935, Australia looks at both of these failures, calls them idiots, and confidently introduces 102 toads. The result was a disaster of historic proportions.
So why did their population explode? Well, they have a superpower. They are poisonous. From the moment they're an egg, to a tadpole, to a full-grown adult, the cane toad is toxic. Any native predator that tried to eat one, we're talking snakes, birds, even crocodiles, died. So the toads actually eliminated their own predators, giving themselves a free pass to multiply.
And this number? This is the legacy of that decision. From just 102 toads to now over 200 million. The attempts to control them have been, well, desperate. People have been paid to stomp on them, hit them with golf clubs, you name it. There was even talk of releasing a toad-specific STD. Yeah, nothing has worked.
So, we've had a runaway pet and a biological weapon that completely backfired. Now let's talk about an invader that arrived by pure accident. Meet the emerald ash borer.
This tiny little beetle, only about a half-inch long, is native to Asia, and researchers are pretty sure it just hitched a ride to North America back in the late 90s, hiding inside some wood packaging from China. Just an accidental stowaway that has since caused billions of dollars in damage and killed over 100 million ash trees.
And the way it kills is it's insidious. It's not really the adult beetle that's the problem. It lays eggs in the tree's bark, but when those larvae hatch, they drill inside and start eating the tree's circulatory system, the parts that move food and water around.
The tree is literally starved to death from the inside out. So, what's the brilliant plan now? Well, scientists are introducing parasitic wasps from China that in theory will prey on the beetle larvae. But, does that sound a little familiar? Bringing in one species to control another one? It really makes you ask, is this a real solution? Or are we just writing chapter 1 of the next disaster?
For our final case, let's head back down under to Australia for an invasion that didn't start with a pest, but with a workhorse. Back in the 1800s, the British needed a solid way to move goods across Australia's huge deserts, and camels, the famous ships of the desert, seemed like the perfect answer. So they imported about 15,000 of them to do all the heavy lifting.
But what's really fascinating here is the time lag. By the early 1900s, you have cars and trains, and they made the camels obsolete. So what happened to this 15,000 animals? They were just let go, released into the wild. And for almost 100 years, nobody really paid any attention, as they just quietly multiplied into a feral herd of over 1 million. The consequences have been enormous. With zero natural predators in Australia, the feral camels are an ecological wrecking ball. They drink entire waterholes dry. They devour all the vegetation that native species depend on, and they even wander into towns looking for water. It's a full-blown crisis that started with a simple transportation problem. So, we've looked at an aquarium pet, a failed solution, an accidental stowaway, and an abandoned tool. What is the one thing, the single common thread that ties all of these crazy stories together?
This slide really says it all. The lionfish invasion? That started because of our desire for cool pets. The cane toad? That was pure human hubris, thinking we could outsmart nature. The ash borer? A byproduct of our global commerce. And the camel? Our relentless march of progress. The one common denominator, every single time, is us. Human action is the first ingredient in every single recipe for disaster.
And that leaves us with this final, pretty provocative thought. Our instinct is always to intervene, right? To fix a problem we see in nature. But after seeing these patterns repeat themselves, you have to ask, are our solutions actually solving anything, or are we just setting the stage for the next catastrophe? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me.